Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Hugo Gerelsen, working for Rocho. We'll start this webinar. There's still people coming in, but let's get started. So today's topic is the AI adapter for the SAP Integration Suite. And we'll present today together with my colleague Shashank Kesarvani. So it probably will take about half an hour, and what we will do is we'll introduce Rocho, the company itself. We'll be then going through some of the use cases for the AI adapter, and then Shashank will do a demo and we'll do a question and answer in the end. So it'll be roughly about 30 minutes. So let's get started. And if people have a question, you can either use the chat or you can use the Q&A, which is enabled, and we're happy to pick it up. Both channels will be monitored, so if there is a question which can be answered in the meantime, we'll answer it, and else we'll take it in the Q&A section. So let's get started. Let me first introduce Rocho as a company. So for those of you that haven't been interacting with us, we've been around for almost 13 years, and we are an SAP partner. And we're located in the Netherlands, Spain, and India. And our strategic partnership with SAP is about third-party connectivity. So we work a lot with SAP on these third-party connectivity adapters and integration content. And what we do is, next to building the adapters, we also build integration content, which is the iFlows, which you can use on top of that. And everything is natively in SAP's Cloud Integration Suite. To the next slide, Shashank. Perfect. So here you see an overview of SAP's Integration Suite, and it has lots of components. So we highlighted where Rocho is active, and Rocho is active in the third-party apps, the green part of it. So as mentioned, we built all the adapters for non-SAP applications to connect via SAP's B2B suite to HANA or ECC. So this is what we built, these adapters. We've been doing this for years, and there's plenty more to come in the coming years. So we'll be developing a lot more, and these adapters will be built according to priority set by SAP, but also by yourself as a customer using SAP's B2B suite. You can influence this roadmap as well. So for the next slide, Shashank. So here is the adapter roadmap. So we have quite a few live already, and this is one of the adapters which have been put live recently. But there's plenty more to come over the coming 4 to 5 years. So there is lots of third-party applications that need connection with S/4HANA. And as said, Rocho is the party that develops these adapters. So we are happy to support you in these connections, and we work together with SAP on these adapters and on the roadmap. Thank you. Next slide. Yeah, so we go over now to the AI adapter. I'll switch to my colleague Shashank Kesarvani, who's been working on the AI adapter together with our colleagues, and he'll take you through the use cases and the demo, and then afterwards we'll go back to the questions and answers. Over to you, Shashank.
Thanks, Hugo. So hi everyone, welcome. My name is Shashank, and today I would be taking you through the AI adapter that has been recently released in the SAP Integration Suite. We would look at the UI, the different configurations that are possible. We will also look at the business use case that you can target for your own integration scenarios, and we will have a small demo at the end. Let me start with the why do you need an AI in integration? Yeah, what are the different things that you can do with it? So this AI adapter, currently it supports two different AI LLM models. One is SAP's own AI core, which is the Gen AI Hub, and the other one is the OpenAI. But with these LLMs, you have different AI models that are catered for different specific needs. So of course, you can have your integration scenarios connect to different AI models. Each model have their own specialization, so you can use them for specific tasks. You can do good. You can, because in integration suite you have a lot of knowledge base when it comes to the type of scenarios that you're running. So you have a lot of information about your orders, for example, different transactions that you are doing. So you can create databases. You have certain examples wherein you have different specific errors that comes, let's say, in a very specific scenario. You can create these error databases as well, have this information stored into the AI, and then use it for, you see, other purpose as well. One of the common use case which everybody I think should have is the error handling. All the integration scenarios, you use your error handling scenarios. You try to extract the information from the error message of camel, operate on it. Maybe you create a Jira ticket out of it, you send an email out of it. So that is something that a lot of organization already do. You can do better error handling with the AI adapter in place. Using the AI, you can extract more information about the exception, get the resolutions, and then use it for the subsequent tasks that you do afterwards. And of course, with this AI adapter, you can also extract a lot of business insights. So you have information for your orders. You can extract these information from their respective tools, kind of collate multiple information, pass it on to your AI agents, and then it will help you to create human readable summaries and trends that would help, you see, the business users to act upon the data that is flowing within your integration suite. These are some small examples of how you can use AI. And now we will see actually how this adapter, you can use this for some of these use cases already. So starting with the AI adapter features, as I highlighted, the current AI providers that the adapter support is AI Core. So SAP has its AI Core, which has internally the Gen AI Hub. So if you have the SAP Integration Suite extended license, you should be able to have this AI Core activity enabled. All of the information related to how you activate this service and how you activate the Gen AI Hub is provided as part of the documentation that comes along with the adapter. And if you have this enabled, you should be able to directly communicate to your Gen AI Hub of your SAP to query basic prompts. The other LLM that we do support is the OpenAI. That again, if you have the right licenses, you should be able to create keys, and then using those keys, you should be able to interact with the OpenAI LLM of your own organization. From the authentication perspective, the AI core supports the OAuth2 client credential. So it's similar to calling any other service of SAP. So you need to create a client credential in your SAP Integration Suite security artifacts, and using that, you should be able to call the AI core services. And then you have API key. This is for the OpenAI variant, wherein you can create the API key from your Open API platform and then use it for integrating your scenarios to OpenAI. The message protocols are the same as the AI core for the Gen AI Hub and the Open API REST. And this adapter is again supported on both the runtimes, so the cloud as well as of the edge integration cell as well. Going to the next slide. This is about the AI Core Gen AI Hub. We have a basic UI screen. We will, of course, deep dive into this UI a little bit more in detail later on. But for here, in the Gen AI Hub, it supports the orchestration completion API. This is primarily for querying and asking prompts to the SAP AI Core. The UI, if you see, you have this operation. Whenever you generate an AI core, you get a deployment ID as well, the default one. Of course, you can create different resource group, and then you will get the deployment ID for those resource group, which you can provide here. Once you do these two configuration, it's a basic UI. You can choose a different model that you have that you want to connect with, and then you have to just provide the input, your user prompt, which would help you to get the response back from the SAP AI core. These models, again, they are predefined models that are listed here. But of course, if the model that you want to interact with is not available, you can edit this field. This is a dropdown, which is an editable dropdown, and you should be able to also provide different models that you don't see as predefined in this list. Second, we have this OpenAI variant. This has more options. So of course, you can do chat completions and responses. So you can have interaction with the AI for your queries and prompts. But other than that, you have different operations to interact with images, audio, models, files, embedding, and actually more of that. The UI again is supports all the headers and properties, so you can use dynamic expressions, and it has support of providing custom request headers, and if there's any response headers that you would want to get back from the LLM, that is also supported. Let's look at some of the use cases that we would target it today, as in there's one demo that we would be showing which highlights how you can use it in the error handling, but some of the use cases that we want to talk about today is the error handling. As I highlighted, this is a very common use case. A lot of organization can already improve their scenarios, so they can use the AI adapter to connect to an OpenAI or the SAP GenAI Core Hub to query about the exceptions that they are encountering in their integration scenarios and use that information to create credible Jira tickets to send out email notification to the right stakeholders. This is something that we would also see in the demo, but some other sample use cases are customer sentiment handling. For example, in this case, you have different CRM applications where your agents talk to different customers, they have different comments. So you can create integration scenarios. What these scenarios potentially would be doing is to receive all the information from the CRM tools, extract and collate with different leads, different deals, and then what they can do is they can summarize this information with the help of AI, get the sentiment of those discussions that are happening, and then again using the adapter they can send it back to the CRM application, updating about these details. That way the agents that are using these applications should get a better understanding of what you see is happening in these deals. As an example, the same configuration can be replicated for other different use cases as well. For example, this advanced event management, a lot of organization uses different ticketing tools such as ServiceNow, Jira, Zendesk. This ticketing tool has a lot of information related to the behavior problems that organization is having, technical problems, things like that. You can also, in this case, create a integration scenario, which can potentially again receive all the information from this ticketing tool, summarize it, and create good insights and send it back to the ticketing tool using the integration scenario. These are very small scenarios that we have highlighted, but of course, this is AI. You can actually do a lot of innovative ideas. I've seen people use it for integrating with their agents, where they have you see specific agents that they've developed, which have specialized on certain data. They can talk to their agents using the AI adapter as well. So there are different other use cases that we have seen customer use this adapter for. Now, going ahead, we will like to jump to the demo. So before the demo, I'd also show you the UI of the adapter. We'll go through the UI configuration very quickly, and then we'll see a quick demo as well. Let me bring up my other screen. So let's start with the SAP AI Core Gen AI Hub. This is a variant, so maybe I'll start from a step back. So when you choose AI adapter, you would get an option of choosing two different message protocol. The first one is the AI Core, which is SAP's own generative AI hub, and the second one is the OpenAI. If you go back to the SAP Gen AI Core Hub, you have the address. So this is the address that you need to provide of a Gen AI Hub. So for different region, SAP has provided different data centers, and the API endpoint URL is what you need to configure here. Together with the OAuth2 credential, this is the credential that you would get as part of your AI Core activation. So when you do that, you need to also create a service account and a service instance. And as part of that, you would get a service key, which will contain your client ID and client secret. Using that, you can create a credential in your security artifact and provide the alias here. We have other standard connection related parameters such as connection reuse, the timeout, and the response timeout. Coming to processing. So the current operation that we do support is the completion orchestration API, which is primarily meant for prompts. When you create an AI core, you also get by default a resource group which has its own deployment ID. So you can use the default deployment ID, but also you can create different other resource group within your GenAI hub, and then you will accordingly get a deployment ID that you need to provide here. The adapter comes with two different type of configurations. So you can use the UI configurable, which is an intuitive way of interacting with AI, where you have already all the models and the different roles that you can use already predefined. So you can choose a particular model which is relevant for your use case, and then you can interact with that particular model using the UI configurable value. But if you have more complex scenarios to integrate, then you can do it with exchange body, wherein you have to provide the exact request structure, and that way you would be able to do complex operation using the exchange body option. But in most cases, we believe that the UI configurable option should be good enough for you to interact with the different models present with the AI core. And as I highlighted, this is an editable field, so you can also provide your own models which are not part of this list, because this is a very field which is changing very quickly. So you're getting models almost every other day. So of course, if there's some model that is not part of the list, you can also provide those model in the list by tapping the respective model. This is about AI core. Then we have the other variant, which is the OpenAI. Here you provide the OpenAI address. It's defaulted to the standard one. If you have some custom domain name, they can also provide that address as well, together with the API key alias that would be generated from your OpenAI. And then it also has standard connection parameter in order to control your connections to your OpenAI. On the processing side, it comes with a configuration type of basic and advanced. Basic is again an intuitive way of interacting with OpenAI, wherein you get everything on the UI itself. So you can choose a particular category. Currently, it supports 3 different categories. So we are supporting chat completion, platforms, and response. Chat completion and response are primarily for the same reason, but response is a more advanced way of interacting with OpenAI. So most of the people would use response in this case. Then, of course, you can create a model response where you provide your prompt. And again, you can choose different AI models that are available. And this is again an editable field, which you can, of course, provide any other model as well. This also comes with a UI configurable. So you can also choose exchange body. So you can provide the whole model request, the prompts and everything in the input payload. And if you choose the advanced option, this is for other scenarios which are not defined in the basic option. So you can, of course, using the advanced option, using the right HTTP method, call different specific endpoints of your AI application. So this was very quick about how you can use, but maybe let me also show you the platform here. I think this is also very interesting, because with this platform events, you have different other entities that you can choose from. For example, if I choose audio, you can generate audio. A good use case could be that, let's say you have Telio, for example, as an application in an organization, and you want to make calls with specific audios. The AI would be able to help you out with generation of audio. You can transcribe things with the audio and then send out, let's say, email notifications or messages. So there are a lot of possibility that it enables. You have different other entities that you can deal with. For example, images. In this case, you can create an image and a lot of things that you do with image. We have options of integrating with models. So you can actually list all the models that you have, which you can also then use in order to integrate here. So for example, you retrieve all the models, and in the next call, let's say that is there after this one, where you want to get a response, you can then also provide the model name as part of the expression using a property, for example. So of course, the options and the ideas are, yeah, you can do a lot of things with these options available in the adapter. Let's look at a very quick demo. So let me go a step back here. I have this another iFlow. For the scenario we have, let's say we have been getting sales order data from our S/4HANA application, for example, or Salesforce, for example. We get this data, we have certain operations that we are doing in this case. Right now, I'm just using a very basic JSON to XML converter. I'm making third-party calls, getting the response back. This is our basic iFlow. In case there's any exception, generally people would like to, let's say, use Jira adapter to create a ticket, or maybe use mail adapter to send out email notifications. So you have certain exception handling sub-process mostly in all the iFlows. In this case, what we did was we extracted the error information. We are talking to our OpenAI in this case, asking about a proper resolution of an exception that is happening. With that, we will get back the response, which will contain the resolutions and other details. I can collate both these information and then create a ticket. So now the ticket that would be created in Jira would not only have the error details, but also would have the resolution. So the person who is going to act upon it would have already ideas of what is going wrong, and they can take immediate actions to resolve the issues that are happening. Let me activate a trace for this one very quickly so that I can show you the payloads and everything else around it. Let me deploy this one. In this case, I've already in my sales order data that I've hard coded for now, I have used an invalid JSON structure, and this JSON to XML converter would fail because of the invalid data that is coming from the upstream application. So now I've triggered this thing. Essentially, it will have an invalid payload, which will try to be converted into an XML, which would fail. The exception subprocess would be triggered, which will then talk to AI to get the right resolution and would collate all this information and then essentially would create a Jira ticket with this data. Let us go to the message monitoring. The interface has run, and let me go to the trace view. So we see that the data was coming in as expected. This was supposed to fail on the JSON to XML conversion. The error message that I see is a malformed JSON, and it says that the line is terminated early. So there's a problem with the item paths here. We extracted the error message in this case, so we're just extracting it from the camel expression. And then in the using the AI adapter, we are calling an LLM to get more details. And if I go to this step, maybe where we are logging the payload, and if you go to the message property, we have the resolution that we are getting back from the AI. And it's already telling me that the problem is with the JSON formatting and the JSON structure is not properly closed, which was the exact problem of this issue. But if somebody looks at this error message, for them, it might take time to understand what is going wrong. And of course, the resolution would also be delayed. But with this, you already know, and it is already giving you exact details where to check the thing. Now what I'm doing here is I'm creating a request using Jira adapter. So I'm calling this thing. So it will create an issue within my Jira project with the summary, and this description already contain about the exception details and the resolution that is generated by the AI. So this way, when the ticket would be created in Jira, so as a response, I would have the ticket number as well here. There's an issue already created, and this issue would already have all the necessary details that the agent can look into and then act upon it to fix the issue for your scenarios. So this was a very basic example, but of course, as I highlighted earlier as well, you can create different other use cases using the AI with the possibilities that the adapter provides. I think that was it from the AI. To go over to you.
Thanks, Shashank. So thanks for the use cases and the demo. We've got quite some questions in both in the chat and in the Q&A. We will provide the recording to all the participants. Let's take out one of the questions, but there is quite some technical questions there as well, Shashank. So let me have a look. in the chat. One of the first questions is: Is there a possibility to connect Gemini in custom OpenAI?
So as LLM provider, the idea is that this AI adapter would have more LLM providers. We will add them. In terms of model, the SAP AI core itself have a lot of models which are part of Gemini as well. So you can, if you have the right license of SAP, you can activate it and then also try that already. But when it comes to different LLM provider, this is something in the roadmap, and we would be enriching this adapter with more and more LLM providers in the long run.
Okay, thank you. And the second one is,
yeah,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I saw a question. It was, can we use the prompt from the exchange property and body? That is correct. These all UI elements that you see are expression enabled, meaning we can use properties, headers, dollar in body, other expressions in order to create a right prompt. So yeah, in a sense, it should be working with all the camel expressions. I see another question. It was related to where we need to configure the service instance or credential in case of GenAI Core Hub. So of course, the documentation that comes along with the AI adapter have detailed steps in order to create these credentials. This credential is again part of two different setups. So one, you need to get the credentials from your BTP account. So you need to first activate the service. After the service is activated, you need to create service instance of service keys. And as part of the service key, you would get the client credential and client ID. And once you get these credentials, you can come to cloud integration and then create a OAuth client credential security artifact, and that you can use it in the adapter to communicate.
Thank
Do
you.
we see any other questions?
Yeah, there's quite a few more questions there. So it's good to see questions coming in. If you look in the chat.
I see the follow-up question from this previous comment only service instance. Is something like how you activate your integration suite, for example, within BTP. Is service like that. So when you search for the service in your BTP account, you will find the AI core, and this Gen AI hub is part of the AI core. So once you activate the service, you would be able to then interact with it. I would recommend that you look, as in go through the documentation. We have references in the documentation which points you to the right documentation within SAP to follow, you see, the steps. And they have very detailed steps actually to help you out activate these services within your BTP account.
Perfect, thank you. And if you look in the chat, Shashank, there's a couple of more questions there. So for example,
I see one question related to OpenAI, which was related to exception can contain sensitive data, for example. But this is also that you use your own grounded API AI providers. Yeah. So you, of course, I would not recommend to talk to a AI provider or a model which is exposed publicly. So that is something that I would also not recommend. If there's sensitive data, then you should be doing it in your own, you see, productive OpenAI license that you have for your own organization. I see another question related to prompts. So of course, prompts is something, is again a vast topic in itself. So the prompts have to be created tailored to your requirements. This is again a free text field, so you can create and be more innovative to create different prompts. In this example that I use, I chose a very simple prompt to tell AI that we have a technical exception and we need a resolution on it. So it was a very basic prompt, but of course you can create more tailored prompt for our new use case. That way you would get a better response as well. There was another question related to how do we get APIs for OpenAI. So if you are using the basic configuration, really don't need to know the OpenAI's you see API specification. The adapter would handle it for you. And in case you're using advanced feature, this is primarily, let's say you have an agent which you have exposed as an API and that you would want to consume via the adapter. In those cases, of course, you will get the endpoint URL from the OpenAI itself, and then you can use that in the advanced configuration as a relative URL. But I think we do have a lot of questions, Hugo. Maybe we can answer them separately. I'm not sure if this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So looking at time, maybe what we do is we'll collect the questions and put together the answers and share them with the participants.
Yeah, that would be great.
Thanks.
I think we have a couple of more slides before we wrap up.
Yes, exactly. So one of the things is seeing the interaction. This is also part of this slide as well. So we're looking for active and interactive customers. So you can influence the way we develop these things and what comes available. So there's a couple of ways to do it. At SAP, you can use the influence.sap.com to suggest new features or asks for capabilities. The other way to do it, of course, is you can register an incident, which will also be followed up by ourselves. And that's the same for other connectors that we provide. It's the way to get some support is register an incident and we will follow up with you. And there's a couple of channels where we keep you informed. So you can look at the SAP Monthly Integration Suite webinar, but also we provide some webinars from Rogo ourselves on these adapters and on the integration content. So we'll keep you informed in those webinars as well. And of course, we'll develop some missions, which will be in the SAP Discovery Center. There's already a couple of them for Salesforce, for Coupa, but there will be more coming up. So these are ways to stay connected with SAP and Rogo and to get some information. And if you want to, you have specific questions related to your company, your situation, you can book a 1-hour discovery session with one of our integration consultants. And we'll discuss with you what are your specific needs for your company, and in this case for the AI adapter or other adapters. So make use of this if you want to discuss things with us directly. And with that, I believe we're coming to the end of the presentation. So I would like to thank you for your attendance and wish you a very good day. Thank you. Goodbye.